Hello, friends. This is Doug and
Dale.
welcome to episode 42 of the restoration of Hendrick, a 66 Volkswagen Beetle convertible. We are looking spiffy, if I have to say so myself. You would think this is the first episode based on how new our coveralls are, folks. Yes, after 2 years, we wore out our previous set of coveralls. So big news in our world. Thanks for following along. Today, let's see what we're going to work on. Our plan for the night was to work on these overrider support bars, but we are completely second guessing ourselves. So these bars are supposed to go through this little hole. They attach to that nut right there, that bolt, like so, and then they attach to the bolt right down here. Let me turn a light on. Right down there. And you can see that this bolt does not line up with that hole. So that was one of the challenges we were going to have to figure out. We did not know if we were going to need to extend this or bend it. It should end up centered in that hole. So Dale got here and started looking at things and thought, you know what, let's put the fenders back on. And we know from measurements that the bumper is spaced evenly off of the front apron. So therefore, in theory, it should be spaced evenly off of the front fenders as well. We don't know what this dimension is supposed to be. We know it should obviously clear the fender. We know that the bumper should clear the hood, which it does. And obviously, we want this gap to be the same on the driver's side as it is on the passenger side. And you can see that it is not. That's what caused us a whole bunch of pause. So we're going to, Dale's gonna hold the camera. Here's what we're a little concerned about. The fenders are kind of loose, they're floppy in here yet. We don't have all of the fender nuts welded in. Those are the nuts that you can see one right here and here and here, that the bolts hold the fenders in. The ones down here are missing, and on this side, actually the first one is all the way up here. So that means the fenders are not mounted real securely. This one we think is an original fender. This one is an aftermarket fender. That probably plays into it. This particular mating surface, we think we need to trim the fender approximately right about there to pull it in because of where this angle and that angle need to match. So the long and short of it is we don't know exactly how the fenders are going to end up. So if we fix these overrider support bars, get them all fit perfect, then work on the fenders, and at the very end of the process, figure out we need to slide the bumper out another ½ inch. We just wasted all that work on those overrider support bars. So I think we're going to take those overrider support bars, set them aside for tonight, and we are going to save those for the end of easy step 2. We're still on easy step 1 of our 6-step process to get this ready for paint. So we're going to put a pause on those. Then we're going to tonight hopefully weld in the fender nuts, and we're going to work on welding in the apron to the front clip so that all of that is done, and then we can move on to the fenders. Next week, Lord willing, will be the seal that goes around the trunk enclosure. I hope that made sense to you. So we're pausing on the overrider support bars, and we're going to move on to the apron and the fender nuts. So let's get to it.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my...
Here's one of the fender nuts I have ready to weld on. It took me a little bit to figure this out last time. The fender nuts that you buy look like this. They've got some dimples on them that I'm assuming was for some sort of a resistance weld, or not positive. Some of the factory ones look a little different. They are resistance welded on maybe, or maybe they just snap in there. I'm not sure, but they're square and they fit into a square hole. So when they pull out, it kind of looks like that. Usually it's been mangled up a little bit and it doesn't fit as well as it did originally. So when I went to install this one, I thought maybe it went like that so that it couldn't pull through, but then it's sticking too proud on that side. So then I tried it this way, thinking, oh, the head of it is recessed. So that kind of looks like it fits right. And then I learned that that wasn't correct either. But this just goes on the inside like such. And then you weld it up and you've got your spot for a fender to mount to. So to hold it in place, I just ran a bolt through from the back side with a washer. This one was quite mangled, so you might have seen in the time lapse. I hit it with a hammer and dolly to kind of flatten it out a little bit. Now I'm gonna run a bolt through that one and that one, while Dale puts a hole in here for our last one.
If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life.
They're ready to weld these in. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've also identified one right here. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, there you go. Is loose. And so we're gonna put a little tack weld probably in 2 places on that just to firm it up. So they're welded in. We made the decision to, this is what it looks like from the outside. We thought about welding that whole thing in solid. What would happen then is you would just lose a little bit of the remnants of the stockness to it. We did have some on this side from quite a few episodes ago that needed major repair. And so these we welded up completely solid. We decided we could have done that too. I don't know, it's a bit of a personal preference thing. So we left it the way it is. We got a little cleanup to do now, and then we're moving on to the apron.
Rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
This is all cleaned up. Cleaned up that side as well. Somehow, in doing all of these plug welds, this one must have undone itself. I'm sure that's it. So we're gonna quick catch that one up. There. I don't know what you're talking about. That looks perfect. All right, now on to the front apron. We gotta figure out how to get that guy in there. Once we do, we're not gonna have access to this wheel well, spare wheel well nearly as much. So we're gonna also double check that all the welding we wanna do inside there is done now. On to the next step. Bottom of this needs to get welded to there. Then the apron needs to get welded to the front. Where this, you can see the blue marks where Dale's gonna drill plug welds. Where this gets welded, this dimension, here Dale, can you hold it?
Yeah.
Where this gets plug welded is driven by this dimension, this way. This dimension is driven by the apron. So we're gonna clamp the apron in place, then do like a plug weld on each side, take the apron off, and that'll give us easy access to the rest of these plug welds. We can plug weld them, clean them up, and that will all be fixed. Next, we will put this guy on, clamp it in place, and then we will plug weld from the outside. So we'll have holes here, as you can see. We're also debated for a while, we're gonna put holes in the bottom, and I'm gonna lay on my back and weld up. And then we'll clean it up on the bottom. That will be, I think, easier than me trying to get my welding helmet and my big old head inside the spare wheel well. That's the plan. It's just a plan. We'll see how it goes. Let's do it. Dale finished cleaning them up. They look nice and clean on both sides. There they are. So now we've clamped the apron in place. Sorry, zoom back out. The apron is clamped in place with two of the, I don't know, vice grip clamps, whatever they're called. A couple clamps on the top. We drew a line on the bottom. You almost can't see it. There's a blue Sharpie line here. And then also did the same thing down there. There's a blue Sharpie line. So where those overlap, we'll know that we can drill our holes to plug weld the apron in from the bottom. The plan is to really want to make sure that the tire fits. So we're going to take it out. We will drill the holes, put it back together, probably put one plug weld on the top of each and one on the bottom. Then we're going to test fit the tire, probably double check that the bumper, everything still looks good there before we burn it in for good. So making fast progress tonight, folks. It feels good. And Dale's gonna get mad saying I'm jinxing us.
Don't jinx us!
Don't believe in jinxes. Here we go. All right, Dale's got the holes drilled. So holes go all the way across the front. Chose to drill holes a little smaller than I usually do. Let me see. They are 7/32. Been using 1/4 inch holes for the other plug welds. I kind of like 9/32, but 7/32 works. If I get much smaller than that, it gets harder to have good penetration into the material below it. I found it works well just to start your weld kind of dead center in the plug so you get good penetration below it and then do a circle kind of around it. The other thing that we're gonna mess with is this is an aftermarket piece and we don't really like this contour. It seems like it is far more open than it should be. I actually kind of like the contour better. It's hard to see on the camera. See how this wraps around more, where this is almost flat? So right in here, we're gonna try to bend this down so this radius matches here. And we think that'll flow better into the way the rest of the trunk is. Not quite sure how we're gonna do that, but I think we're gonna try it off car first. Maybe there's a way for us to use a hammer and dolly to kind of work that down. So we're gonna give it a try. I don't know if you remembered it from before, but this radius is a whole lot. See how this lip kind of curves around now? Before it was kind of sticking out at an angle about like that. So that looks a whole lot better to us. I don't think things will catch on it going in and out. All right, time to see if the tire fits. Our clamps very well might be in the way. Maybe your clamp is in the way. This is a joy to do with one hand.
Teamwork.
Look at that.
There we go. All right.
Are we down or are we hitting? Now it doesn't hit the bottom, it hits the back of the wheel well. I think you're down all the way.
It's not gonna hit the bottom of the. You only got a space there. And before we, oh wait, because this gets clamped like this. Here's where the jack goes. So this comes around. We had that same problem last time.
We did.
There's the lever.
Think we'd learn?
Well, it's a little odd. So that's the way that it's supposed to be. Now it would be clamped in.
Okay, so I'll see if it fits.
Now, magic. Oh, that definitely fits better.
Sweet.
All right. Oh, now we popped out the bottom. I think we should weld this part in. Or
Yeah.
you got any hot glue?
All right,
It's definitely fitting.
4 tack welds and we try again.
All right.
All right. Front apron is on and clamped in. So we're gonna do this guy and maybe this guy. And then we'll do 2 on the other side and then maybe 2 on the bottom. Then we're gonna check everything out one more time. But I think, Lord willing, this is the, well, it ain't coming back out again if this goes well. All right, friends, it is time for us to call it a wrap for the night. And Dale, show us where we ended because this has been a very productive, very successful night. Look at that. Fits. Oh.
Let me just remove the spare tire.
And there's air in it. It's pressurized and it fits. That's fantastic. All right.
Never happened before.
The front apron is in and plug welded all the way down. This side as well. Folks, I'm actually happy to show you some of these welds. They, that one looks fine. And then plug welded all the way across the bottom. Again, I am so happy. Look how pretty those plug welds are. That one blew through a little bit. And then there's a couple down there I don't want you to see. But we are really happy with that. This is part of 6 Easy Steps posted on the wall. to get Hendrick done. Next week, we hope to put the seal in around the trunk and then mount the bumper. Nope. Put the seal in around the trunk, and we're going to wait to do the overriders, then we're moving on to fenders.
Yeah, that's fenders, which are actually easy step number 2.
Easy step number 2 of 6.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for watching and following along. If you've got questions, comments, it's just nice to hear feedback from people. If you have suggestions of things you want to see more of or less of, that's great. My email address is thirdstallgarage. That's 3 the number RD @gmail.com. Every now and then, viewers send pictures of me of their projects, and I love to see those, see what other people are working on. There's some very bright LED lights.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. So, love to hear from you and what you're working on. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Have a great night. Enjoy the fall weather. God bless. Talk to you later.